David? David?
David Moore, Dallas Morning News. What's the outlook for Leighton Vander Esch and also Armstrong and Wilson? Well, they did come back into the game. Is there anything that could, with the short week, could impact them?
Yeah, just visiting with Jim briefly. Still getting all the information. But Leighton, we're fortunate. It was much better than we thought. So, and he will not be available this week. I do know that. But I just you look at just the loss of Leighton in that game. Just the impact it made, and you just always hate to see one of your guys go down. And he's been awesome for us, both on and off the field. But he will definitely not be available this week.
And Armstrong.
Da looked. He had a positive exam today, and so did Donovan.
And just at this stage of the season, is the biggest thing facing you just the attrition on the defensive side of the ball and kind of the domino effect that's having?
Yeah, definitely. I think we talked about this. I think it was on Friday. it's this third week in a row you lose a start. Lost Tyron Smith last week, and so hopefully we're just hit a little stretch here that we need to work through. So it's and December football is the most challenging. Obviously, these games being a little quicker than the norm. So, yeah, we just keep working, and we got a lot of time invested in our younger players and backup players, and they'll keep responding and do what we need to do to win.
Clarence Hill, former Star Telegram. Going back to last night, the drive at the end of regulation. He threw a long pass. I don't know what the initial call was, but talk about the thought process of trying to get them to use the timeout.
It's a third down call. You have two options there. I talked about it last night. You have a chance to go win the game. I think just like anything, the ebb and flow. You're listening to all the calls, offense, defense, special teams, and clearly, there's a play we ran earlier in the game. The play that I think CD went about 25 yards on it, so it was a similar third down. In long distance play call. So we're trying to win the game there. Whether you run the ball and knock 3 more seconds off and take the timeout, that's the other choice. We call it no moss. It's a no moss situation. We're trying to end the game.
Michael Gelkin, Dallas Morning News, via the new addition Trayvon or a couple of your practice squad corners. Do you feel you have a good sense today their readiness to potentially help you guys at that situation, or is that with the practice people?
Yeah, definitely. They'll be ready. I have no concern about any of these guys not being ready. But it's just like anything. This is Game Plan Tuesday for us. That's it was. Took the time out to come see all you wonderful people. But this is they'll be ready to go. So we feel very confident in our guys.
Mike, Todd Archer with ESPN. Mike was saying after the game that the game plans you guys see leading into the games are different than what you're actually getting against you from the opposing offenses. Is that true? Do you view it that way when you go back and look at it?
You talking about one game or all year?
A lot of these games here lately, he said what you're seeing on film leading into is different than what you are actually getting on Sundays.
Well, teams change up. There's, we're clearly at this point in the season. There's conceptually, there's not a whole lot you haven't seen. I just think as far as Jacksonville's offense versus our defense, they threw a lot at us. And Mike's particular, focal point. People are not just going to let them run up. They're not going to leave them one-on-one out there. So he's seeing all the different combinations of chips and presence and protection, and he'll be seeing that the rest of his career. So there's things you do to combat that, and we'll just keep working. That's football, but scheme and how people are going to attack you. Defensively. We've been talking about it since early this season. Our run defense will be the first area that will be under attack each and every week. And you look at the games that where things didn't go as well as we like on defense. That's a consistent attacking points. So. But with that, it also gets more opportunities for pass rush. I don't recall exactly how many times they threw the ball, but there were some pass rush opportunities yesterday. Particularly in the end of game situations, and so we'll be better from it. Just like I told them after the game, I was clear. I just said, hey, number one, we lost the game in Green Bay in overtime. We lost this game in overtime, but we won one last week in 2 minutes. I just know this: the things that you emphasize and work on, you will come through. You will come through the smoke. And this group has put so much time and energy into end of game situations and so forth, and we'll be better moving forward. I do know that. I believe that. So we didn't make enough plays. That game yesterday had a lot of big plays, and when we look at big plays, chart them all throughout the game. It's something I talk about at halftime every game. So you're normally about 32-ish big plays a game. History will tell you there's more big plays in December for whatever reason, but there's 42 big plays in that game yesterday. I mean, that's the highest of the year, and they made more than we did. They made 3. We were -3 in the big play category. I think we were +1 at halftime. So that's what this league's about. You cannot win in the National Football League if you don't make big plays. So we'll just keep focusing and keep working.
Mike Jordy, Epstein, Yahoo Sports. When you look at Dak's day yesterday, and you're perfect in the first half, some big throws, but also the costly interceptions, how do you assess where y'all are at? And, emphasize that, continue the positives, but also make sure to clean up the negatives.
Yeah, definitely. I think just like everything, and just Clarence questions, everybody's questions. I mean, we have an evaluation process. Well, it's an excellent one. I'm confident in that, and every play is graded. I can stand here, with confidence and tell you the quarterback position is graded with extreme detail. Dak Prescott played at an extremely high level yesterday. Extremely high level. Just go watch the tape. You got to go deeper than the statistics. I mean, statistics point directions, highlight things, but sometimes it doesn't tell the whole story. He had the first interception was a decision that you got to just take the sack there, or try to get the ball back to the line of scrimmage. It's 3rd and 10. So, but other than that, he made a second base throw on a second interception. That ball was placed right where it needed to be. So but other than that, I thought he played at an extremely high level. And most importantly, he needs to keep firing. He needs to keep going. So let's make that clear. So we're not slowing down.
Coach Aisha Morrison, DallasCowboys.com. You spoke on all of the injuries to the starters that you've had consecutively in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
How important is it for you as a head coach to keep these guys dialed in with the physicality and all of those things with the playoffs coming forward, especially since there's a young team?
Well, frankly, that's the easy part. This team does not lack energy. I mean, going back to Micah's question earlier, I mean, there's no one as competitive as Micah Parsons. So I don't ever worry about the energy, the focus on, being competitive and going after it in December. So with anything, every week is about beating the next opponent. And NFL players, I know it's been my history for 3 decades, they just want the specifics on what they need, the details to go win. A lot of things we talk about as far as focus and energy is more applied to the things outside of what we do to win a game, and that's part of our job responsibility, and I think our guys do a nice job with it. So, and frankly, we probably have more of that than most teams, clearly. But end of the day, this is about football. I mean, this is we're in a position to do what we said we wanted to do back in April. So we're about beating the Eagles right now. I told them after the game that we will react to this. We'll react appropriately. I want everybody to watch the game on the plane, on the bus. But when the wheels touch down in Dallas, we're on to Philadelphia, and that's where we're on to today. So our guys are focused on beating Philadelphia.
Christy Scales, Cowboys Radio. How did Deshaun Wright do in his extended time at the end of the game in place of Joseph? And did he come out of the game okay because he was being evaluated in the lieutenant?
Yeah, I don't have anything. He checked out this morning. I know he saw Jim and Britt and them guys. So, but yeah, I thought Deshaun did a nice job. So another super competitive young man. So, just like the path that he's on, every time he gets an opportunity, he's ready. No one works harder than he does in practice. No one puts more extra time than he does. So I look for him to, based on what's in front of us, he'll do well with his opportunity.
The news of this just happened, so you might be hearing it for the first time. Jalen Hurts' status is in doubt, it appears, for Saturday. He sprained his throwing shoulder. Can you maybe just comment on how that could impact preparation and any other general response to that?
Well, I mean, we've already looked at the game, our last game of the year with Gardner, so we'll be ready for Gardner or Jalen. So we'll be ready for both quarterbacks.
Dave. Michael, after every loss, we ask you and the players a lot about what you didn't do in that game. But this is only like the second game you've lost in 8 weeks. How much do you put that into context with your players that we have to focus on what we're not doing, but in the overall scheme of things, look how this stacks up?
I mean, really, David, I look at this the same each and every week. I mean, it's about evaluation, education, application to what you're trying to get done, and that's a game of football. I mean, you're either on a 7-day week, a 6-day week, or a 5-day week, and that's just the facts of the matter. And you have to get to the point at the end of the week that they're ready to go. So, our evaluation period was on the plane last night, on the bus ride, to the airport, and some of the coaches came straight into here last night just to make sure they had the information, this morning for the game plan meeting. So, we did a lot of pre-game planning for Philadelphia last week to get a head start on it, and frankly, from the coach's standpoint, we got to get Philadelphia done because we got to do some pre-game planning on the next one. So, I mean, that's our life, and obviously we love it. And this time of year is what it's all about. But yeah, our evaluation process does not change based on the outcome of the game.
Mike, you've talked to us about 11 wins and the importance of that, but you've actually made the playoffs. Now you qualified for it. What does that do to your approach in these last 3 games about how you look at things and where you are with the injuries, or you start thinking about playoff seeding or anything of that at this juncture?
Todd, I think the 11th win still holds up because it's hey, we're thankful, we're excited. I don't know how exciting it was because my wife woke me up to tell me we made the playoffs, but we need to win the 11th game. So and then I think the clarity of what's in front of us will the path will be set.
Joy.
Mike, I know you touched on it briefly with Jalen, but can you just speak a little bit to the type of player he is and how he's grown from last year to this year, or even from earlier this season to
Jalen
now?
Hurts?
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can argue with just the production he's put on film. I think like anything, when you look at the quarterback position, these guys are asked to do so much. You look, how he played in year 1, year 2, and was in this current system. So he's definitely taken what I would call the second-year leap in the system of offense that he's in, and and he's playing at an extremely high level. So super productive, and this is an outstanding football team we're getting ready to beat.
And not asking you to comment on his medical situation specifically, but just your experience with shoulder sprains and with quarterbacks through your career, how challenging is that to have the sprain in the throwing shoulder?
It's challenging. I can remember Aaron Rodgers, 2008. We're down in Tampa, and he separated his throwing shoulder. Didn't look like he was going to play, and really went all the way up to the game time. We were playing the Atlanta Falcons at home, and went down to the indoor facility. I really didn't think he was going to be ready to go, but they harnessed his shoulder, and he felt like he wanted to go. It was his first year as a starter. It was early in the season, and we were walking out of the field, and he's like, "Hey, just don't give me any of the deep ones, until I know I can really rip it." And I said, "Oh yeah, absolutely." And so we had a deep throw that was would have been perfect right on the right hash, fake 94 Bob X read. I still remember the call, and it was 3rd and 1. It was the perfect situation, and I called it, and he kind of looked at me, and I ran out of time. So he went back, ripped it for a big first down, and then it was like, he was good from there. So it's difficult to play with.
Clarence, Telegram. Just getting back, you said you were asleep last night. I assume you knew if that game impacted you guys making the playoffs. Just talk about that mindset of not wanting.
I like to dazzle you here, Clarence, but I don't really get caught up in that. I seriously, I mean, we didn't win the game. I watched both sides on the plane, and then I'm thinking about the next one. So I watched a little bit of the game, but yeah, I just wasn't real in the mood to sit there and watch a whole lot of football. I was just really wanted to get up early and get after it. So that was my mindset.
Mike Tyron played 54 snaps. Was that higher than you thought, and how did he come out of the game?
Yeah, it was higher than we planned, and and obviously, the communication I thought was excellent between Joe and Tyron, and even I even talked to Britt about it, just just make sure that just to return the play, we were on, we were all lined up there. So, but yeah, I thought he really. Very happy with the amount of work that he got and some of the things he got into. He got into some TE games that those are the things you got to get the reps, you got to get the timing down and get back into it. And obviously, seeing him and Zach on that first double team was pretty damn impressive. So, but yeah, I thought he got off to a really good start.
Didn't look like a guy was playing his first game at right tackle since his rookie year, I guess.
He didn't look like it.
Yeah, they look better than maybe. He didn't play left tackle or right tackle since 2011.
Yeah, I thought he did a hell of a job. I mean, you've been covering this team forever. I mean, you know how he played back then.
You were talking earlier about the
Little
number-
Friday information. No humor today.
You were talking earlier about the number of big plays in yesterday's game. Is Philadelphia as prolific in big plays right now as any team we face this season? And what are they doing so well?
What I've been real impressed with, Philadelphia, and Dan may even talk on this when he comes in here, but, he was just talking about the game plan specific approach that they've gone with. You look at their production against Green Bay, and then you look at their production against Tennessee. So they've been doing it both in the run and the pass. So yeah, I mean, hey, they're playing at a very high level, and their record reflects it.
Coach, Aisha Merchandise, Cowboys.com again. I wanted to ask, in regard to the linebacker position, you mentioned Leighton Vander Esch and how much his presence was missed this game. Moving forward, could we see a Drabel Cox or those guys come in and, maybe have opportunities with the depth there?
Yeah, excellent. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's all about the young players. Jabril's ready. So, yeah, these guys, Damone, will get some more opportunities. And so we'll be looking at all those guys.
Upon having gotten a chance to study the run defense yesterday, what impressions did you take as to why the Jaguars were able to have the success they did?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing is, when you look at the, how many times you get 3 reverses ran against you, and that's obviously the production of those plays and, the contain component. So, that's what we'll focus on. And I just go back to the evaluation answer. I mean, that's why we evaluate it, grade it, go through it, and, we're definitely, it's on tape. Let's be honest. Philadelphia has this multiple and very explosive run game that we'll go up against. So that's really where our mind's at as far as how we apply it moving forward.
All righty, thank you, Mike.
Is that it? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Have